Welcome back, my friends, to the Moto Guzzi show that never ends. It's hello from him, and it's hello from Sasha the Guzzi dog. Hey Sasha, you chasing squirrels today? No, it's above 30 degrees outside, so it's too hot to chase squirrels. Even the squirrels stay in there. What is it, a dray? A nest? Don't know. Anyway, so what's happening today? Well, holy smokes! What's all this? We've got an oil slick, an environmental disaster. We're changing the oil on the Guzzi again. So the Guzzi's got about 760 miles on her since the engine was put back together. So a little over 600 and something miles since the last oil change, which was done at 138, I believe. Anyway, so it's time to change it again. Get the last remnants of any swarf out the engine. And similar with the gearbox, which was contaminated with water and had new bearings and seals. And the rear end, which had water damage in there. The crown wheel and pinion were absolutely knackered, and I was able to replace them with a used set, which were in perfect condition. So since then, what has happened? Well, because the oil wasn't going to be in for very long, it was going to be mainly used for flushing out any crap that was left. I put mineral oil in the rear end, and in that it was an 1890. The rear end decided it was going to pee oil out of everywhere. Now, it hadn't done it previously, and the oil I put in was some old Quaker State that I had lying around for a couple of years, so I bunged it in. Now, whether that's a reflection of Quaker State or whether that is me not sealing the bottom properly, I don't know, but it wasn't leaking from there before. There's not really a proper seal there, just a piece of paper, but it was okay before. So I'm not going to touch that. We had the usual calamity when I drained the oil out the rear end, because it has this little sump on the bottom, and you've got to take out 6 Allen screws, bolts, and the bloody oil pisses out everywhere. And although I came prepared to catch it, well, you know what happened. Bloody thing didn't work. You need 3 pairs of hands to do this job. So I'm not very happy, but I'll put some soaker down and get rid of that. Now then, the oil. Engine oil is very discolored for 640 miles, whatever it was. Whether that's the last of my rubber coming out, I don't know. Feels good. Not that that means anything, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that, but we'll see what it's like next time. The gearbox oil again is discolored, but not as bad as last time. If you tip it, there was no particles catching on those ribs. And so yeah, a little discolored. It looks browner on the camera than it does in real life. It looks just like normal gear oil that you drain out. Now then, a plug on the engine is clean. There's nothing showing on there. Plug on the gearbox is obviously not showing anything. Let's have this bugger off. Should have been better prepared, shouldn't I? One-handed wonder, eh? One-handed wonder. I believe there's a magnet on this one. So what have we got? Very, very fine sort of slime. Very fine sort of slime. No big furry. Pardon, Sasha? Yeah, there's a little bit there. Yeah. A little bit. To keep an eye on that. Again, that had Quaker State in it. So I'm not entirely sure about the quality of that oil. It was rather old oil. Now the bottom end has got this little sump in it. And it's hard to tell the difference between any sediment that might be in there and any guns that dropped in off the side, because it's absolutely filthy there. These bits here hard to tell. No, I think they're little bits of grease that's still hanging around. You can just see the odd little chunk there, a lighter coloured chunk. They're soft. And there's nothing terrible in there, although the oil is a little bit brown. Again, we're not seeing any big bits of debris in there, although the majority of the oil went on the floor, but that's the way it is. Still stinks like gear oil. So yeah, now pretty much what I expected, although I didn't expect the engine oil to be quite so dirty, but maybe that's just what that oil does. I don't know. It's a very good quality mineral 2050 racing oil. Well, when I say racing oil, it's meant for flat tappet cams, etc. It's not meant for roller cams. The ZDDP levels at about 1400, so it's quite high. It's an old-fashioned oil, basically. So that thing there causes me an enormous amount of grief, and I just cannot see the point of it anymore. I imagine in the old days, when they wanted you to stick molybdenum additive in the rear end, this would be where the molybdenum collected, because it tends to fall out of solution, and then when the engine gets hot, it sort of goes back in. When the gearbox or whatever it in gets hot, it goes back into solution. I don't think that's really necessary with modern synthetics. So, what are we going to do? Right, well, I've made a modification on the rear end. I don't like that thing, but I happen to have when I bought the parts for the rear end, there was a spare sump plate. So what I've done is I ground off the fins, I welded a chunk of aluminum on there, aluminium, and drilled and tapped it for a drain plug. So in future I will not have to take this whole damn thing off just to drain the oil out. I'll just take that plug out and let it go, and I think that will work good. I can't see why it won't. And while I was at it, I put this on a plate with a piece of emery, and I sanded her flat, and before I started, she was by no means flat anyway. So that is going to go back on there after it's been cleaned, and then she will get topped up with a quality synthetic, and we'll run the bike for 1,000 miles. Well, the engine, I'm changing the oil every 1,000. Guzzi say every 1,800. And although I might do that on a trip, while I'm around home, I'll change it every 1,000. It's not that expensive. It's about $10 to $12 a litre. So, you know, there's no oil filter on it, which is why you have to change it so often. So, you know, 35 bucks, 36 bucks, even 40 bucks is not expensive maintenance. So there we go. Mucky black engine oil, discoloured gear oil, but they've both gone about the same colour, so I'm assuming that's normal. No signs of a huge amount of rust like there was last time. So I think we're getting all the rust and crap out of there. Same on the rear end. The bike did about 260 miles yesterday in 30+ degree heat, and she ran well despite the car drivers trying to kill me. But yeah, no, she ran good for an old bike, although I haven't been pushing her. Been cruising at 4,000 RPM, which is an indicated 70. Now, I don't know whether that is accurate or not, because my speedo is on Italian time. It works whenever it wants to. No, to be fair, it's not that bad. And I'm not entirely sure about the rev counter either. But as nobody drives on the speed limit around here, pickup trucks regularly roar past you doing well over 100 miles an hour, driven by yahoos who are in a hurry to get somewhere and don't really care about anybody else. But anyways, that's it. There's moron drivers everywhere. Watching some videos from England, I can see. Well, you need a guardian angel on your shoulder to survive. Well, those morons. Morons is, I think I'm being polite there. Anyway, so you've seen the oil, you've seen the disaster. You've seen, hopefully, you've seen my solution. I think that'll work. I don't see why it won't work. It might take a while for the oil to drain out, but who cares? Interestingly enough, you know, I love shaft drive. I love shaft drive. That is the thing for a touring bike. You can't beat shaft drive. You can't beat shaft drive. I'm not talking about performance, I'm talking about touring. But interestingly enough, well, I bought the big Triumph back from a ride the other night, and I decided to change the oil. So I did my usual thing, get an old juice bottle, cut the top out of it, stick it under the rear end, pull out the drain plug, went in, had a cup of tea, came back out 15 minutes later, she completely drained. Put the plug back in, took the filler off, tipped in, I think it's 200 cc's, 200 milliliters is what it takes. Poured that in, put the filler cap back on, and I'm done. And depending on your mileage, that is a once a year deal. Now, if you've got a bike with a chain and you're on a trip, that is a daily deal. And not only that, it's a lot filthier and dirtier. So for me, shaft drive is worth it every time. So, okay, I've bullshitted enough. So it's goodbye from him in the oily mess. And it's goodbye from Sasha, who is trying to stay cool, dreaming about squirrels. Dreaming about squirrels? Yeah. Okay, so until next time, take care of yourselves, look after one another, rubber side down, shiny side up, keep it guzzy. Bye for now.